Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? Welcome into another episode of the Full Press Saints podcast, of course, a part of the Full Press Coverage Network. Make sure you guys follow us on Twitter at SaintsFPC. Once again, it is your host, Alec, joined by my main man, Dayton. It's been a minute, Dayton. We've both been super busy with everything going on here these last few weeks, so we apologize for, the slow, uploads of podcasts and whatnot, but we're here now, talk about the schedule a little bit, Dave. Before I dive into that, though, how are you doing, sir?
Hey, good to be back. Good to put out another episode here. Luckily, not a whole lot has gone on. We haven't missed too much since our last episode, which was a couple weeks ago when we talked about the draft. But obviously, the big thing that happened is what we're going to be talking about today with the schedule release. But I'm doing great. It's great to be back. I love talking Saints football. Our audience has been fantastic. It's been great hosting with you, so I'm glad to get back into it. And you guys should expect a lot of episodes to be coming out.
Fast and Furious.
Exactly, yeah. A lot quicker than it has been. But, I'm just excited to be back talking some Saints football here. And beautiful day as well. I mean, it seems like everywhere across the country is having great weather, including up here in the upper left corner of the U.S. So
everywhere except down
brightens
south.
My mood. Oh, is that so? Oh.
Yeah, it's supposed to rain for like a week straight down here in Texas.
Wow.
I like it though. I like the rainy weather. It's nice.
See, I understand why you would. Living up here, though, it rains more so than it doesn't, so it gets old. It gets old real quick, but so that's why I'm so excited for this sunny, nice weather. So, but nothing's more fun than talking Saints football, and I'm excited to break down. We finally know the order of the games for this upcoming season, so it's very exciting.
Yep, could not agree more. And of course, I'm sure everybody who is listening to this has already seen the entire schedule. I'll highlight some of the big games here, and then we'll dive into a little bit of which ones we were looking forward to in particular. So, Week 1, kicking things off with the Green Bay Packers, potentially Jordan Love versus Jameis Winston. Nope. Yep. I was waiting for the crickets to chirp, but yeah, that should be a lot of fun in the Dome. It's going to be Fox's America game of the week, Week 1, against the Packers. We'll play the Patriots at New England, Week 3, potentially a Cam Newton / Mac Jones, maybe rookie starting game for Mac Jones. Week 7. We play at Seattle on Monday Night Football. We were bye week 6. Week 8 on Halloween night. The Buccaneers, the late afternoon game in New Orleans. That's going to be lots of fun. New Orleans, Halloween just goes together so well. Then Thanksgiving, we'll host the Buffalo Bills. Week after Thanksgiving, it'll be Dallas on Thursday Night Football. And then week 15... Sunday Night Football, once again, at Tampa Bay, play the Buccaneers. Maybe some late-season playoff implications are on the line at that point. Week 16, Monday Night Football, against the Miami Dolphins. They win the year with the Panthers and the Falcons. Saints still have 5 primetime games, despite Drew Brees retiring, Nathan, which is kind of crazy to me, because I didn't think we were really going to get 5 primetime games. But it just shows you how the ratings in New Orleans... how important that is to the NFL, because New Orleans is one of the top markets as far as audiences watching these NFL events. Saints are not.
Yeah.
So, what were some of your takeaways from the schedule, and what games are you looking forward to the most, good sir?
Yeah, the 5 primetime games are, of course, tied for the most in the league, tied with a handful of teams, including the Cowboys, including the Buccaneers as well, Super Bowl champions. The great thing about the schedule, or I should say the interesting thing about schedule releases, is we already know who every team is going to play way before the schedules are, like the official schedules are released. But it's still eye-opening or very informative when the full schedule does get released. Because we know all the teams we were going to play, we just didn't know when we were going to play them, what the TV schedule was going to look like, who was going to be home, who was going to be away, all that jazz. Well, I guess we know the home and away as well, but not the placement of the games. So when the schedule does get released, even though we already pretty much know everything, including the extra 17th game, even before that got approved, we knew who the Saints were going to play in their 17th game, it being the Tennessee Titans. It's still just very interesting to see the schedule in its full be released, and there's still so much to talk about, even though we knew so much. So looking at this schedule, I mean, I like it a lot. First off, there's not really any crazy stretches. There's not 3 away games in a row. There's not anything crazy like having a Monday night game, then a Sunday night game, then a Thursday night game, or a Monday night, then Sunday afternoon, and then, something crazy after that. The only thing that I guess I don't fully enjoy, and I'm sure I don't know how much the Saints will either, is the fact that they play on Thanksgiving is great. It's going to be a great matchup against the Bills. That's the primetime slot. But then a week later, I mean, they have to play another Thursday game. So they're going to have to do a lot of workaround for these players in terms of seeing their families for this Thanksgiving break. Because if you play Philly Sunday at home, and then you have to travel to Buffalo 4 days later to play them Thursday night on Thanksgiving, and then you have a game exactly a week later. I mean, the only time you're going to be able to see your family is that Friday and Saturday after Thanksgiving is really going to be the only time. So I do feel bad for the players and the coaching staff and everybody involved with the Saints for that. But I mean, the Cowboys are going through the same thing. The Cowboys also play on Thanksgiving, and then they play a week later against the Saints on Thursday Night Football. So both teams will be in the same boat. That matchup I'm circling on my calendar, and I totally messed up. They actually have to travel to Philadelphia, and then they travel back home to play the Buffalo Bills because it is in New Orleans. So that is nice, where they can stay home at least, and the Cowboys don't have to travel too far. But that week 1 matchup against the Green Bay Packers, man, that is one of the best opening non-Super Bowl rematch, when the Super Bowl winners either play who they beat or they have a really good Thursday night opening game. This is one of the best week 1 just straight up matchups, period. It's not even a primetime game. I mean, I know it's America's Game of the Week on Fox, but the Packers and the Saints, remember how exciting their game was last season with that huge Kamara a screen pass for a touchdown. The Packers ended up winning that game, but it was very close. Packers ended up going to the NFC Championship game. They're a quality team. Now they got this big cloud over their head concerning Aaron Rodgers and whether or not he'll be there. It could be Jordan Love playing. It could be anybody playing quarterback for the Packers for all we know at this point. I expect it to be Aaron Rodgers. Even though he does want out, I feel like he is a guy who won't exactly force his way out unless his hands are absolutely tied, which I feel like he still has some time to figure things out. But then 2 road game stretch at the Panthers, at the Patriots. And by the way, I love how our divisional matchups are spread out. It's not like we're playing the Buccaneers 2 times in 3 weeks or the Panthers 2 times in 3 weeks. I mean, we have back-to-back divisional games multiple times on the schedule, but we don't have a thing where we play the Panthers like week 10 and then we play them again on week 12 or 13. I just never liked that for some reason. I guess it's just kind of like weird placement in my eyes. So I enjoy that the divisional games are kind of spread out. Got a lot of 2 and 2 and 2, 2 home games, then 2 road games. But that Titans matchup, November 14th, that's the extra game. Any sort of cross-conference matchup, especially with the team as good as the Titans. Derrick Henry versus Alvin Kamara, I mean, that's going to be a great matchup. Titans defense has improved this offseason, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But no, I like the schedule a lot. My only gripe with it, like I said, was that those back-to-back Thursday games, but luckily they're both home games for the Saints, so that helps. And then having another early bye week. I mean, a week 6 bye.
That's the trend for us, it feels like.
Yeah, seriously. So, I mean, I love when there's a week, when the bye week is anywhere between weeks 9 and 11, I feel like that's perfect. I mean, that's literally like the middle of the season. So, you play 8 games, get a bye week, and then you come back and play, 8 or 9, depending on what it is. So, also another game I'm going to be circling for personal reasons is Monday Night Football against the Seahawks, October 25th. That's in Seattle, only a few hours away from me. I'm going to try my damnedest to go and see the Saints play Seattle up there. It's not called CenturyLink Field anymore. It's actually Lumen Field because CenturyLink changed their name.
Oh, really?
So it's Lumen Field, so it's not the Clink, but I'm sure everybody down there will still call it the same. So I would love to finally experience a Saints game up there in Seattle.
With fans.
Just period. Yeah, the Seattle fans are crazy. They are passionate, wild, but also very nice, very kind. So it's going to be interesting if I end up going wearing Saints gear in enemy territory. Hey. So, but no, I love the schedule. Also, playing the Dolphins December 27th, another Monday Night Football game. I think that will be very good. And the last interesting thing about the schedule compared to other years is the fact of the added 17th game really pushes these games back, because now the Saints have 2 games in January, which usually week 17 would fall anywhere between like December 29th and December 31st. So, no teams would really be playing in January, and if they did, it would, be maybe a game on January 2nd, and then that's it. Now the season extends all the way to January 9th. Still starts around the same time as normal seasons. So it's very interesting because they shortened the preseason to 3 games, but the regular season is now still longer.
And so and if you're in New Orleans, you have to remember the fact that last year when they extended the playoffs, the top seed is the only team that gets a bye.
Yep.
So if New Orleans were to make the playoffs, you get to go 17 weeks, which, as you mentioned, January 9th being the last day of the regular season, and then that next Sunday you're still playing wildcard round. So it's going to be a fun season. It's going to be real interesting to see how this team... Because, at least to me, I think the Saints are our version of the 90s Buffalo Bills. Because you look at what they've done, 4 straight playoff trips, with 12-plus wins every time. Arguably could be a number 1 seed because other teams, have better records. They were forced to play Walker Weekend pretty much every year. And you look at this team year in and year out, Marcus Williams in Minnesota. Then you have the no call. Then you have just the real flat out disappointing loss to the Vikings in overtime. And then Tampa this past year. So it's going to be real interesting to see how this new young team adjust, with 17 weeks done in the regular season, with 5 primetime games. How can this team play under the lights and with all of America watching, So it's going to be a real interesting season for sure, and probably the most interesting since since 06 when Sean Payton first came here, because at least in my opinion, every year I can look at the Saints schedule and go, okay, we have Drew Brees. We have a shot, realistically. Brees can get us to a minimum 7 to 8 wins on his own.
Right.
And the team can do some lifting as well. So no Drew Brees this year. It's going to be interesting to see how this team adjusts and how they play. I'm really interested to see, because I cannot confidently tell you the Saints are going to go 12-5, which that's new to say.
Yeah.
12-5 or 13-4. So it just seems so weird to say that. Yeah, but I can't confidently tell you that this is a team that can go out there and win 12, 13 games this year. I really can't. I'm not totally sold on the Saints just because, one, they were so strapped in the offseason with cap, and 2, at the very worst, a questionable draft class with some of those picks. You just got to wonder if they did enough in the offseason to add to the talent they already have and can compete right away with some of the NFL's best. And we'll see week 1 against the Green Bay Packers right away.
Yes. And being strapped for cash in terms of salary cap definitely hindered the Saints' ability to kind of elevate this roster even more without Brees, because you're absolutely right. Every season before this with Drew Brees, we know that we have a chance to beat anybody. It doesn't matter who it is.
Right.
And now we go into this unexpected. And Jameis Winston has shown that he can be a somewhat quality NFL quarterback in this league.
And the thing is, the Saints and Sean Payton, they haven't committed to Jameis. They haven't come out and said,
"That's true.
Oh, Jameis is going to be our starter week 1." You know, if we
He's got to be the guy,
if
though,
if
right?
we find out Taysom Hill is the starter week 1, no,
right.
My heart cannot take 50 plus snaps of Taysom Hill, a quarterback, for 17 weeks.
Did you know though? Taysom Hill had a better completion percentage last season than Aaron Rodgers, and he met the minimum.
Did you? Don't do
by
that.
It was by 0.2%.
Don't do.
But
that.
it was also 6 touchdowns and 3 interceptions.
How many fumbles did Taysom have?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. How many fumbles did Taysom have?
So I want Winston to be the starter because he is the guy who has proven himself.
Agreed.
And I want Taysom Hill to be the gadget guy. He's not going to be the gadget guy. I mean, and I think that's why the Ian Book draft kind of has a little bit more value to it, just because it seems like Taysom Hill is committed to trying to be the starting quarterback for this team. It seems like this offseason he's been training to be a quarterback more so than anything. I want him as our gadget guy and as a emergency quarterback, and as a gadget guy who can fool defenses and be a gadget thrower for the team, not just a runner or a pass catcher. Like, put him in there to do some throws every so often. He's got a decent arm when a play is specifically designed for him to have a decent arm. I mean, don't forget that Deontay Harris bomb against the Vikings in the playoffs a couple of years ago. I mean, the guy can chuck the ball. But I think Jameis Winston is by far the best passer on this team. Yep. Best decision maker, I mean, that's up in the air still, but we've yet to see. So I think week 1 against Green Bay, going up against good competition, will be a test right off the bat for the Saints, which I like a lot. But I don't know if you want to take a quick break real quick, and then when we come back, we can do our little some predictions here for game to game, what we think. But yeah, no, I think overall, I think we're both pretty satisfied with this schedule.
I am satisfied with that schedule. And having said that, excellent tease there, Dayton. We'll take a quick break. Coming up next, we'll get into some predictions and kind of give you our overall record for the 2021 Saints. You're listening to the Full Press Saints podcast. All right, guys, welcome back. Alec and Dayton here. Dayton, let's talk the schedule down. Let's do game by game here. I know I just said I don't see this team winning more than 10 or 11 games, so let's put that to the theory here. Let's test that out. Let's go game by game, talk about this Saints schedule, and just see what we're thinking record wise, what this team looks like. So week 1, Green Bay Packers, America's Game of the Week on Fox. How you feeling here?
Well, this is tough. I mean, I really thought the Saints were going to be able to beat the Packers last season during a primetime game in New Orleans, and they didn't. It was a good battle, but, the Packers were the better team. I am one of the people who really thinks that Aaron Rodgers will still be playing quarterback for the Packers there, as much as I would love to see him move on somewhere or the Packers to just kind of self-implode. I see him playing there, and I think that makes it a lot tougher. Just to be safe, I'm going to say the Saints lose this game. And I'm doing that for 2 main reasons. Number 1, last time I said they were going to win, they lost. So maybe this is a little reverse effect on that. And number 2, my gut is telling me that the Packers are going to win this game. That's just what my gut says when I look at this. We'll look at the schedule, see the first game be the Green Bay Packers. In the back of my mind, I know that Aaron Rodgers will be the quarterback for them. And like I said, I hope I'm wrong. But I have the Packers taking the W on that game, even though I want the Saints to win.
Okay, well, having said that, I'm going to give the Saints the win here, and I say this because I don't believe Aaron Rodgers will be playing for the Packers next year, or this coming year. I also do not believe he's going to play for anybody next year. I think this could be like a Deshaun Watson type situation before it got to where it is parlors. Now. Yeah. I think Aaron's going to hold out. The Packers are not going to trade him. And I think Aaron's at the point in his career where he doesn't like the game as much anymore. He loves doing Jeopardy. He has all the money in the world. I think Aaron's going to be a guy who will just sit back and go, okay, play Jordan Love. See what happens.
Sure.
I think he's just not going to play this year at all.
I see that happening more so
than him being traded.
Of that happening, exactly. I see the chances of him just sitting the season out are much higher than the chances of him being traded.
Agreed.
Whatever. So. And
Jordan Love, I was not high on him coming out. I don't understand what the hype was around Jordan Love.
Yeah, he's got mediocre college tape. So, I mean, granted, the arm talent is there, but if you actually watch his tape, it's tough.
Yeah, he was the 4th or 5th best quarterback in that draft for a reason. Having said that, I got the Saints winning this game against the Packers.
Okay. I like it. So then they travel to Carolina a week later. First division game of the season, going up against, not only Sam Darnold over there and that pretty solid receiving core, but also J.C. Horn, cornerback player. A lot of Saints fans really wanted them to draft,
and so did Sean and Mickey.
He got exactly, yeah. They were thinking about trading up for him, but he goes 8th to the Panthers, so now we got to face him. How you feeling about this game? Even though it's the Panthers and they were a bottom 5 team last year, but
they were, and to me their record last year wasn't really a fair reflection on their part. They played a lot of close games last year.
Yes.
Having said that, I still think this team is probably a year away from being where they really are. We're being where they're really gonna be at.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a team that's trying to figure out their identity. I love the coach. Matt Rule, I think, is the right guy for that team.
He rules.
Yeah. Having said that, he's not going to rule this game. I have the Saints. I have the Saints winning this game as well. Start off your 2-0.
Reverse card on me. I like it. Yeah. I got the Saints winning this game as well. Remember last time the Saints lost an opening game of the season, or opening couple of games of the season. This was back in 2017. Then they traveled to Carolina, beat the Panthers 34-13. Was a statement game for them. I feel like they're going to lose. Like I said, my prediction is that they're losing against Green Bay week 1, come out with a statement game against the Panthers week 2. Divisional round win. It's going to be interesting to see what Sam Darnold does with those weapons he has. He doesn't have any more excuses.
It's his year.
He's got the weapons. So I really want the Saints to live up to the test of that and shut down that offense and come out victorious. So I got them with that win. So they're at 1-1 for me, 2-0 for you.
Yep.
Speaking of Cam Newton, who the Saints beat back in 2017 in Carolina, then they go to New England to play the Patriots. Cam Newton at quarterback. And to me, I feel like the Patriots thing with Mac Jones is that they are going to sit him for a year, and that's why they signed Cam Newton to that contract. Here's the thing, Mac Jones, I don't know if Cam Newton is the quarterback for him to learn under necessarily, but I do think that Cam Newton gave you glimpses of the, I guess, not exactly game manager part he has, but I mean, he doesn't make great throws, but he doesn't make too many dumb decisions, and he definitely utilizes his legs, and I think Bill Belichick has a full offseason now to really revamp his offense to kind of fit what Cam Newton is doing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I feel like Mac Jones will be sitting for the year. So I think Newton will be the quarterback we play in that game.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
New England. I feel like this is a game. This is hard.
And they got better over this offseason. They drafted pretty well. I mean, they signed. They gave a lot of guaranteed money. They got Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith. I mean,
the receivers too.
And the Saints obviously pride themselves on their great rush defense. So, if the Saints are caught slipping, I think the Patriots could rush for over 200 yards in that game if they really wanted to. I think the Patriots' kind of plan going into the season is going to be that ground and pound to start with, at least. I could be wrong, but that's kind of where their roster is trending to. So, but the Saints got great rush defense year in and year out, so that could be a good matchup.
It will be a great matchup, and I got the Saints winning this game.
Me too. And it's I think it's gonna be tough. I think it's gonna be tough, but I got the Saints winning. So I got them at 2-1. And then Saints go back to New Orleans to take on the New York Football Giants. It's October 3rd. That's on Fox. Second home game of the season. How do you like that matchup? Daniel Jones, Kenny Galladay, Saquon Barkley will be back healthy.
You ruined it for me the moment you said Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
The Giants could throw Randy Moss in his prime to Daniel Jones. It's all on the quarterback. And Daniel Jones, to me, was a guy. There were quite a few question marks when he was taken, where he was at a Duke, and the Saints are gonna stomp the Giants. I think. Stomp being the key word. Yeah, I'm the Giants. To me, they're not going to be a good team this year. Daniel Jones, they only will go as far as Daniel Jones can carry them, and he can't carry them He cannot carry them far at all.
Daniel Jones can barely carry himself. Speaking of Daniel Jones, you got me tripping, stumbling. That's Daniel Jones, man. That every time I think of Daniel Jones, he's tripping and stumbling. He can't even carry himself up.
How long did you have that pulled up for?
30 seconds. I swear to God, I muted my mic, looked on YouTube, had to get the right clip, and I got it. So
I like that.
That's Daniel Jones.
That's staying in here.
So yeah, I think the Saints. I mean, the Giants are still. Joe Judge is a good coach. He's going to coach this team up good, and I'm eating my words too because I did not think Joe Judge was the best hire for the Giants at the time. He's done a decent job given what he's given,
and they still have Jason Garrett as an OC.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, another reason I don't trust that offense at all.
Yeah, I got the Saints winning. So 3-1 for me, 4-0 for you already. And that's what a lot of people are saying because the final game before the bye week for the Saints is at the Washington football team.
Oh, they'll lose this
the
game.
R words.
They'll lose this game.
And a lot of people are saying, the Saints should be 5-0 going into the bye week. I think that one of these 5 games, and for me, it's the Packers game. For you, it's the
Washington
football team. I think one of those games is going to be lost. At least one of those games. I mean, they could slip up against the Patriots. Divisional games are tough. Anything could happen against the Panthers. So, I mean, coming away 4-1 in the bye week is great. I don't think people should have that high expectations of a 5-0 start for the Saints going into the bye week. But yeah, the Washington football team, go. Why do you think they're going to lose the game? And I don't think you're wrong for saying that. I think they'll win, but I think there is good reason to think that they may lose.
Well, for one, we don't have a very good history with Ryan Fitzpatrick. He tends to light us up in these moments. And I think, to me, look at Washington, what they did in the offseason. You bring in Curtis Samuel, who was Ron Rivera's guy in Carolina. You beef up the defense even more by bringing William Jackson to play outside corner after losing Ronald Darby. You let Ryan Kerrigan go, but that only means more snaps for Montez Sweat, Chase Young on the outside, rushing the passer. And to me, they had one of my favorite draft picks in the first round, the linebacker out of Kentucky, Jamin Davis. If he can just... If he has the intelligence to really, make the calls and audibles and run a defense like Ron Rivera likes, he's going to be his Luke Kuechly. A big, physical, tall linebacker. It screamed Ron Rivera when the Washington football team made that selection. So this is a really good team. People are going to tell you the Cowboys or the Giants are going to be the front runners for the NFC East. It's Washington. And by them not drafting or signing a quarterback, tells me they're all in this year on Fitzpatrick.
Yep.
They're going to take the good and the bad with him. And also, Terry McLaurin is going to out-route Marshawn Lattimore and put that boy in a blender. I'm sorry.
Yes.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I love what Washington has done, and to me, this is the game we're going to lose before the bye.
Yeah, I can see. I mean, that's the thing. They've groomed these players really good. I just saw this... meme on Twitter, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, with a Master Splinter meme of Aaron Payne, Chase Young, Montez Sweat, and
Jonathan Allen.
Who and then Ryan Kerrigan being Master Splinter. Now they're all grown up. Of course, Kerrigan goes to the Eagles.
Was underrated for his time at Washington.
Yeah, absolutely. But now this defensive line is ready to go, and they've invested in that front seven so much. I really like this defense. And remember, they signed Landon Collins a couple years ago. Granted, his prime has now been wasted, like absolutely wasted. But he can still be a good safety for that team. So their defense is top notch. And again, Ryan Fitzpatrick, throwback to 2018 Week 1. I mean, you freaking lit us up.
He still can do that.
Lit us up, and yeah, he can still toss the ball like that. So, and he's throwing to darn good receivers like he was in Tampa Bay. So, yeah, I think it's gonna be a tough game, but give me the Saints strictly because, remind me. I mean, I guess they got McKinnon and they got Antonio Gibson, but I think the Saints will be able to shut down their run, force Ryan Fitzpatrick to throw the ball. The offensive line is still kind of a work in progress for the Washington football team. They may have it together by then, but I feel like the combination of the Saints rush defense, pass rush, and granted their secondary is not a favorable matchup against guys like Terry McLaurin and Curtis Samuel, but they have enough. They've played Samuel enough. Him being from the Panthers, they kind of know how to operate against him. I think that they may have a really good chance. And then, I mean, just as long as they're able to score some points, but this Washington football team defense might be better than I'm even thinking. I think that they'll be, like top 20. But they could be a top 10 defense because of their talent.
Easily.
So give me the Saints W here. I think it's going to be an early season. I think the Washington football team might be a team who's so young that they don't really figure it out until second half of the year. Or they could be a team that fires out the gates, but I'm going to go with my gut here and go with the Saints. So we both have them at 4-1 heading into the bye week, which again, early bye week 6. But 4-1, I think 4-1 would be more than acceptable.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Us winning September is a great thing because it never happens.
Yeah, exactly. Saints always slip up on one game too, usually in the early season.
So with the bye week in week 6, we now go to week 7, primetime Monday Night Football at Seattle, a game you might be going to, I might add.
I hope so.
I mean, look, we know, but the whole Russell Wilson fiasco this offseason, they traded for Gabe Jackson along the offensive line. How do you feel about Seattle?
You know what? I feel decent about Seattle. I would feel fantastic if it was going there. So if I end up going, I don't care. See, that's the thing. I obviously will want the Saints to win that game, but if I'm going to that game, I will be happy regardless. But when I'm looking at it now, it's tough. I mean, after a bye week though, that's the only benefit I see here is that, you get a bye week to rest and regroup after whatever happens in the first 5 weeks. Hopefully you got some momentum, but the Seahawks, man, they find ways to beat us a lot of the time, but most recent matchup against them, again, back in Seattle, Saints won. This was the first full game without Drew Brees that season. That was also the Deontay Harris fantastic punt return for a touchdown.
Teddy
so
B.
I'm not, and that was Teddy Bridgewater's kind of almost quote unquote coming out game because that was the first of his, however many wins in a row, 5 or 6, being a starter for the Saints. So I'm not scared of the Seahawks at all. Their defense has always been up and down. They don't draft well. They got 3 draft picks, one of them being Dwayne Eskridge, a receiver the Saints were really hoping to get. So I think their offense could be a little bit better. Still don't have a running game. Offensive line is still up and down. They've improved from the last few seasons, but it's still not quite there. Russell Wilson is in distress still. He kind of wants out. Give me the Saints. I think the Saints can win this game by, anywhere between 6 and 14 points. That's how strong I feel about this game.
Okay.
I'm not worried. I ain't scared.
You ain't scared of Seattle? Okay.
I ain't scared of no ghosts.
Having said that, I'm not scared of the Seahawks either.
Good.
I know they won the West last year, correct?
Yeah, they did, and that's why. I'm pretty sure that's why, because there's no other.
Right, because the Rams went to Seattle in the wildcard round.
Yes.
So, you look at the West as a whole right now. You could realistically make a case for Seattle being the worst team in that division. You look at the Rams last year. Well, defensively, you saw what they were, and they just added a legit quarterback finally in that offense with Matt Stafford. You look at the Cardinals. They brought in Malcolm Butler. They brought in Rodney Hudson, which is one of my favorite underrated moves in the offseason to play center for them. And the Niners, once they're healthy. With Jimmy Garoppolo, that is a playoff caliber roster, and who knows, maybe they play Trey Lance early, and if Trey Lance were to play, then that's dangerous right there.
I hope he does, because if I'm a team and I draft a quarterback 3rd overall, I'm hoping that he's going to play right away. So.
Yeah, so you could make a case for Seattle is the worst, because without Russell Wilson, that is not a playoff roster. That team does not go to the playoffs without Russell Wilson. So it depends on Russ having a good game or bad game. And I just don't trust the Seahawks enough. So give me New Orleans in this game.
Yeah, I like it. And I now that I think about it, you're right. The Seahawks could definitely be the worst team in their division after all this. Especially if the Niners have improved as much. I mean, here's the thing. The Cardinals are still up and down for me. But yeah, that could be a division where
with year 2,
the last place team is 7 and I guess 7-10 now, which is still pretty decent record. So,
but year 2 with Kyler and Cliff, I expect them to be a lot more.
That's a good point. Or year 3.
Year three, correct.
So, yeah, could definitely be a little bit better.
Yeah.
So, they also got Zaven Collins, another Saints draft favorite.
No, yeah.
Cardinals do.
Yeah, they do. Ooh.
Too bad we don't play them. I'd love to play the Cardinals.
So, Halloween night, or Halloween evening, I guess, if you will. The Bucs will travel to New Orleans for the first time since beating us in the playoffs in the Superdome. Oh, man, Tampa's scary. I'm not gonna lie.
A little bit. They're only scary because it's Halloween.
True. So, having said that, how do you feel about this game between the Buccaneers? I see the Saints losing this game.
I mean, that's the thing, right? The Saints were the first team in the history of the NFC South division to win all division games in a season last year. It doesn't happen often.
Right.
And most of the time, I mean, I think 4-2. Obviously, the Panthers, when they finished 15-1, only one division loss. That was against the Falcons. But normally, the best team, if you have a good division record, it's 4-2. So you're going to lose at least 2 division games. This could definitely be one of them. I hope we don't lose to the Buccaneers at home. That's embarrassing. That already happened one time in the playoffs. I don't want it to happen again. But you're very right. This could be a game where the Saints come back from playing Monday night in Seattle on a short week at home, traveling back, and they got to take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Feeling good about their record.
Exactly, yeah. They could have good momentum, but the Buccaneers could have even greater momentum. Again, the Buccaneers brought back all 22 starters. They were able to get some depth guys in the draft. I still like this roster, and this Buccaneers team is going to be the true testament to how easy or hard is it to repeat in the NFL, because they have the same exact team, just about the same exact roster, obviously some changes here and there, just about the same exact team, same players, all 22 starters.
Same coaches.
Same coaching staff. Great coaching staff.
Mm-hmm.
Can you repeat? That's going to be the true testament. So, Saints whoop up on the Buccaneers both games last season, including that 38-3 blowout, which seems like it was 10 years ago now. And then they choke against them in the playoffs, and that is the history of after that, the rest is history. That is the Saints season summarized right there. So I think it's going to be a big redemption game. I'm going to say my Buccaneers L for the Saints when they play them later on. So spoiler alert, I have the Saints losing to the Buccaneers in week 14. And I have them winning this game against the Buccaneers at home. Just because I don't want them to lose. That's my reasoning behind it. I don't want them to lose. And again, division games, anything can happen. So this is almost a coin toss at this point. But give me the Saints here.
Okay, I dig that.
And that's another win in a row.
Okay, I dig that. So, after we get against the Bucs, they travel. They're home against the Falcons, Week 9. It's the Falcons. They're going to beat the Falcons.
Yes, I really hope so.
Yeah, if there's anybody they're going to sweep in that division, it's going to be Atlanta.
First game playing against Kyle Pitts. I think that'll be exciting because he's just a generational talent at his position. It's going to be interesting to see what the Falcons end up doing with him. But I agree. I mean, Arthur Smith, decent. I mean, here's the thing. He did good in Tennessee. It's just sometimes these head coaching hirings, I'm just like, I don't know. And it has nothing to do with Eric Bieniemy either down in Kansas City, who I think deserves a head coaching job. Even if you take him out of the equation, it's just very odd hiring. I thought the Matt Nagy hiring for Chicago was kind of in the same realm as Arthur Smith. I don't know the guy personally. I'm sure they made the right decision overall, but you get a coordinator from all right, he did a good job with what he was given in the certain circumstances, but, are you ready to relinquish that? Granted, Arthur Smith has been in the league for a lot longer than Matt Nagy was at the time, but I don't know, just very interesting hiring to me. I think he's going to be in for a big wake-up call. Matt Ryan is a good quarterback, but he's still limited. Julio Jones is hurt about half of the year most of the time. can't get in the end zone, so you have to combat that with guys who can score, and that is a guy like Kyle Pitts, so we'll see how they utilize him. Calvin Ridley has become a breakout star, so that offense is good. Defense is improving. I like their selection of Richie Grant. The Falcons actually had a really decent draft class this year, but give me the Saints. I think the Falcons are still a couple years away from being a competitive team, so give me the Saints right there. Another win in a row. That's 3 in a row right there. Actually, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I got the Saints going 7-1 to begin the season with 7 wins in a row.
Okay, I dig that. Alrighty, then they travel to Tennessee week 10, a noon kickoff.
This is where I see them losing.
Okay, really? Okay.
I'm gonna pick them to lose. I just think the matchup favors the Titans. Defensively, even though they were poor last year, especially secondary wise. Caleb Farley is now on that team. They needed another cornerback. I think their draft class was pretty good. I think that they improved somewhat. Jadeveon Clowney now is not eating up a bunch of cap for that team anymore.
Now it's Bud Dupree.
Sacks. Now it's Bud Dupree. We'll see how Bud Dupree does. I think Bud Dupree fits this defensive scheme more than Clowney. But it could be the same thing. Could be a guy who gets a lot of pressures but no sacks because he doesn't have that much help. But Jeffrey Simmons, one of the best, most underrated, I should say, defensive tackles in the league. Rising star. I like him a lot. And also on offense, Ryan Tannehill, another great game manager. They lose Corey Davis, but they got another, and of course A.J. Brown is receiver 1 over there, so it didn't matter that much. They got Corey Davis, but they did replace him with, I'm looking it up right now. I know they got a guy. Sorry, I'm trying to stall right now. I swear they got, I guess they didn't really replace,
They didn't replace him or Adam Humphries.
No, they didn't. Wow. That's why I couldn't think of anybody. Yeah, no, they didn't. Interesting. But they still got Derrick Henry, arguably the best running back in the entire NFL. Good offensive line, beefy offensive line, led by Taylor Lewan. And yeah, I think their defense has improved from last year. I think it's not going to be bottom 5 again. It's going to be good. But yeah, Bud Dupree going in there, Caleb Farley, a new addition. They also got Elijah Molden out of the University of Washington. Really good slot cornerback there, who can also play safety. Amani Hooker, Kevin Bear. They got some good guys on there. So I feel like just the momentum for the Saints now traveling to Tennessee for that game. I think the Saints will lose that one. So 7-2 as of right now for me.
And I will keep that same bond with you. I had them beating the Titans this game. I think now with teams putting more attention on A.J. Brown, it's going to be really on Ryan Tannehill to try and get the ball to other playmakers. They lost Jonnu Smith too, the extremely versatile tight end. So I just don't see them overcoming the losses of those two guys in particular on their offense. I think they're going to struggle this year offensively. So I got New Orleans beating the Titans in this game for sure.
Okay. I like it. And then they have another away game a week later in Philadelphia going up against the Eagles. Now, we remember what happened last time the Saints played the Eagles. That was Jalen Hurts coming out game, and Jalen Hurts didn't have Devontae Smith then either, which he does now, one of the most electrifying receivers that we've seen in quite a while. Heisman Trophy winner, mind you, national champion, multiple-time national champion, I might add.
Yep.
I think that'll be a tough game. They, of course, we talked about getting Ryan Kerrigan, Darius Slay. This is going to be his second season with the Eagles, one of the better cornerbacks in the league. I think this will be a tough game, and because I've been so favorable for the Saints so far, I think that, at this point in the season, they are probably going to experience another loss, and if it doesn't happen now, it might happen earlier. Remember, they don't have Drew Brees. Their quarterback situation is up and down. Hopefully their offensive line can hold up. But, if we were able to lose a few games here and there with Drew Brees at quarterback, I think we're going to lose at least a few games here and there with Jameis Winston at quarterback. So I unfortunately will have the Saints losing this game as well. I think it'll be a good game. It'll be a tough matchup, and I feel like they are the better team than the Eagles overall, especially on paper. But I feel like the Eagles could definitely steal this game from the Saints. I got the Eagles winning.
I had them winning as well. And, every year there's that one game where we go, man, why do we lose this game? This game is going to be that game against the Eagles.
I think so. Yeah.
It hurt.
Just like it was last year.
If you think about last year, how much that game really affected the playoff seedings for us at the time. So,
right.
Same situation. I have them falling. What are we at now? 7-3. Is that where we're both at?
I am. I'm 7. I think we're both 7-3.
Yeah,
just different losses. So
yep. And this, I'm fixing to fall at 7-4 here. Week 14, Thanksgiving night on Sunday Night Football. The Buffalo Bills will come to town and absolutely murder us. I have zero confidence in the Saints winning this game. I'll tell you that right now.
Right. I mean, this is an AFC Championship playing team right here that we're going up against, who pretty much kept the same roster.
Yep.
So
and we're not beating Buffalo. Don't try and say we are, people.
Yeah, I don't.
We're not going to beat Buffalo.
Especially going to Philadelphia, 4 days, traveling back home on Thanksgiving, playing the Bills. I don't see us winning that game either. And people aren't going to like me saying this either. I don't see them beating the Cowboys the week after either. I mean, with Dak Prescott at quarterback, another guy I have to eat my words on. I really doubted Dak Prescott. I had a tweet that went viral. I think it was either 2 years ago or 3 years ago, right around this time. It was during the off season, and there was a tweet where it was either ESPN or SportsCenter put up something about Dak Prescott, and somebody was like, "Really, you didn't put Dak Prescott as a top 15 quarterback? Name 15 better quarterbacks than Dak Prescott." And I did, and it went viral because a lot of people agreed with me at the time. I have eaten my words. Dak Prescott, when he's healthy, he's a top 10 quarterback.
Yep.
Maybe top 5, just based off of, accumulating yards and touchdowns.
Yep.
Dude can absolutely ball. Really fairly efficient as well. I like him a lot. I have the Saints losing against the Cowboys. I think it'll be a good matchup, but their offense is going to, I think, be a little bit too overpowering for the Saints.
I actually have them beating the Cowboys for a entirely different reason. That defense is still it did not get any better in the offseason. They added what's the old dude from the draft? Micah Parsons. They added Micah Parsons, but that linebacker core is still consistent. That secondary is still pretty much the same. They just lost their veteran corners in free agency. They still really can't get a whole lot of pressure, so I like the Saints offense. I think this is the game where maybe Jameis could really break out, if you will. You could see a game where he's, maybe 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks, or something like that. I see this could be a game where this would be the game where the Saints have their best game offensively the entire year. Because that defense is just so bad. And the fact that it's at home is so much bigger than being on the road.
Yeah.
Because the Cowboys will also be playing Thanksgiving Thursday. And they'll also go on the road. So
we'll each have the same amount of rest, which will obviously, not give either team a disadvantage. But no, I think it'll be tough because the Cowboys also could have so much momentum going into that game. They have, I think they have one of the easier schedules in the league.
They do.
I remember looking at it correctly.
It's them and the Eagles.
That's the thing, the NFC East. And that's partially because they're playing the NFC South, who have the Panthers and the Falcons in there. Those are two kind of, very lower winning percentage teams that they're playing. She factors in for the Saints too. But, for some reason my gut's telling me the Cowboys are going to win that game. So that's me having the Saints lose 4 games in a row, unfortunately. I know they had a big win streak. So
sheesh.
I got the Saints at 7-5, I think, at this point. I think you have them at 8-4 then.
8-4, yeah.
Through week 13.
So week 14 at the Jets, potentially playing the number 2 overall pick, Zach Wilson, who apparently thinks he deserves a 90 overall rating on Madden.
There's no way those guys have played Madden. That's the thing. The quarterbacks who said anything over, I think Justin Fields is the only realistic one.
Justin Fields is the only guy who said a 78 to 81 because I'm a rookie.
Any quarterback who said over 80 or I guess over 83, 84 is delusional because that's not how the Madden is not going to, obviously if you check on Madden, most of the really good quarterbacks who enter the league are the range that Justin Fields had him, 78 to 81. Sometimes even lower. You got to factor in the awareness aspect in Madden is what really gets quarterbacks down. If your awareness is only at 60, 65, that brings your entire overall down quite a bit, and that's how rookie quarterbacks are. That makes sense. That you gotta kind of build up that NFL new game kind of awareness type thing. So, but yeah, I'm glad that we get to play the number 2 overall pick. Really would have loved to play the Jaguars. We will see them in the preseason, so we'll definitely get to see Trevor Lawrence then. But we'll get to see Zach Wilson in the actual regular season. I think the Saints get that W easy. I mean, here's the thing. The Jets definitely improved their team, but they still have so many holes. They're still a year or two away from being competitive. So
Yep.
I got the Saints getting that W.
Yep. I couldn't agree more. Already at Tampa, Sunday Night Football, late in the year. There's probably some playoff implications on the line here. What are you thinking?
Yeah, like I said, since I gave him the W at home earlier, I got to give this an L. That's just how it works. I got the Buccaneers winning this one. Gonna be tough again, 2 away games in a row, but not too bad. You get a week off in a row, and I'd rather do the two on, as opposed to any sort of 3 home games in a row, so that then later on we'd have 3 road games. So 2 road games back to back, but Sunday Night Football. Going up against the Buccaneers. I know we've had success against them on Sunday night in recent past, but that's just how cards work. I'm just going with how the NFL usually happens with divisional matchups. If you usually will go 1-1 with the top team in your division just because of how the matchups work. Doesn't matter how good either team is. So give me the Buccaneers there.
All right, and I had them losing at home. I have them winning this game for the sake of. If I'm going to be honest here, the Saints will probably be the more desperate team this late in the year, and probably have a lot more to fight for and lose for.
Yes.
So I see the Saints winning this game at Tampa. And now, where are we at? Week 16, home for the Dolphins, Monday Night Football, last primetime game of the year.
Yep. Like another Monday. I like Monday night. This is 2 days after Christmas. Again, the Christmas game against the Vikings last year was phenomenal. With Alvin Kamara getting the 6 touchdowns, maybe we can have some more of that Christmas magic. I got the Saints winning this game personally. I think the Dolphins are a good team, and they were so close to playoffs last year. I think they're going to be a playoff team this season. But home against them, Tua could definitely have a slip-up game. Again, he's a very up-and-down quarterback. Still haven't really figured out. They don't really have a true running back. Their receiving core now with Jalen Waddle, I think, just needs some time to develop. Still good quality players, and you got Myles Gaskin, Myles Gaskin's a running back, but you got Mike Gesicki, a really good tight end. He's come on to his own. Robert Flores is one of the better defensive-minded coaches and head coaches in the league. We saw what he can do. They got talent, but give me the Saints. I mean, I feel like our secondary is going to be able to control what they're doing for the passing game. I think we can get pressure there on Tua. So yeah, I have the Saints. I mean, Dolphins are still kind of a younger team, so they're going to be a playoff team, but I don't think they're a team where they're going to be too intimidating for the Saints, especially at home. So,
I just got to think, if New Orleans, if the way my schedule works out, if they're gonna playing for that big game at home or sorry, on the road against Tampa, I feel like the exact same reasons why I said they should beat Tampa is the exact same reasons why Miami is gonna beat New Orleans on Monday Night Football. I think the Dolphins
a lot more to play for.
A lot more to play for. The AFC, we saw last year how competitive that race was for that last playoff spot. It was crazy.
Right.
There were like 4 or 5 different teams fighting for those last 2 spots. And I look at Miami, and they are a team that is very much on the up and rise. I thought last year was great for them because last year I thought they were still a year or 2 away from, competing for, like, legit competing. And now it seems they are there. You give Tua another offseason to really, for one, to be the true starter and get all the reps throughout the camps and the OTAs. You bring in this college receiver, Jalen Waddle. I love what they did throughout the draft, too. They took the kid from Oregon, the safety.
Javon Holland, he's I was surprised he was first safety to be taken, too.
Yep.
Because of all the buzz surrounding Trayvon Moehrig and Richie Grant, even towards the end. But Holland he's a baller.
Yeah, so I love what the Dolphins did. And I think the fact that the AFC is going to be much more competitive than the NFC, I believe, as far as that wildcard race is concerned this late in the year, I think Miami's have a lot more to play for. And I think they're going to come out. They're going to come out and be a much more aggressive team. So I have the Saints losing on Monday Night Football.
Okay, could see it. I could definitely see it. I think the Dolphins, like I said, quality young players. Definitely anything can happen. Final 2 games, 2 divisional games. Home against Panthers, then at the Falcons to finish it off. I'm going to make this easy. I think the Saints will lose one of those games.
So do I.
Don't know who it will be against. That's the thing. Part of me, I'm like, I hope it's not against the Panthers at home. Losing home divisional games is never fun. But also, I hope it's not the Falcons, because losing against the Falcons, especially with how bad they are,
no matter,
never fun at all.
matter home or away, it's never fun.
Exactly.
Losing the Falcons.
Yeah. So, just one of those games that I think they will lose.
I'll have them losing the Panthers. I think the Panthers. Okay. I think the Panthers they'll get their mojo through the second half of the season. Yeah. They'll figure out what kind of team they are.
I can see that.
I can see them get hot.
Play well.
Yeah, I can see them get hot towards the end of the year. Honestly. So
they got the talent.
I'd have them lose to Carolina and then beat Atlanta to end the year.
I prefer that, honestly. But so overall, that gives, I think, both of us them. My record for them is 10-7. Then I think yours is
11-6.
Yours might be 11-6. Yeah,
because I have them beat the Cowboys. Yeah, so 11-6.
That's right. So 11-6, 10-7. I think that's a pretty safe. I guess that's because a lot of people are saying the Saints are going to be below 500,
which is not true.
I don't see that happening.
That roster is still happening. That roster is still by far more talented, and you know, we'll talk about this more in the state of the roster episode. But really quick, I just want to point out, you know, people are talking about all the cuts we had to make, and you know, to me, a lot of those guys are here just for the Drew Brees run. You know, Emmanuel Sanders, Janoris Jenkins,
Quan.
Those.
He still would have been here. We probably would have had to cut him because of his contract, regardless. But him getting hurt made it a little easier. But yeah, I think that he was
right. Yeah, but regardless, all the guys that they had to cut or trade were not part of the long-term plan.
Right.
They were here for the run with Drew Brees to try and win a championship. So
exactly.
Yeah, I think below 500 is just by far too absurd. But then again, for a lot of people to go 13-4 or 12-5 to me just seems a little too high because we truly just do not know what we're going to get out of this roster.
Right. I think, and worst case scenario for the Saints team is that Winston somehow gets hurt, something happens with Taysom Hill, and Ian Book has to be the quarterback for us. God. Like that's the only plausible way I can see the Saints going below 500,
or
severely below 500,
or we just start Taysom all the way.
That's the thing, and if we do, I don't get the plan with Taysom, man. I don't understand.
Neither do
you want to use him as a gadget guy, but you also want him to be playing quarterback. You can't have both.
Exactly. But that is going to wrap up our schedule breakdown episode. And then coming out here momentarily, we will have our State of the Saints episode. We break down the roster, the moves they made, moves still to be made, possibly. It's gonna be lots of fun. So, Dave, before we sign off here, anything left? Any last words here?
No, I mean, overall, like I said, I'm excited for this season. Not many too gripes about the schedule. The early bye week is the only thing that I really don't like, but good quality teams we're playing. There's going to be a test early, but also some not exactly gimme games, but some easier games for the roster who is still going to have to mesh throughout the season well. But don't sleep on the Saints team. If you're not a fan, if you are a fan, don't sleep on this team. I think they're going to be good. They're going to win a lot of games. So I'm excited. I think it's very interesting. I mean, there's not really any games where I'm like, this is kind of a snooze fest in a way, you know. All of even the division games, it's like, you know, what's going to happen? Anything can happen in these games. They got a lot of good new players. All the outside division games are going to be good. I think the Giants game is the only one, and maybe the Jets, where I'm like, you know, I guess that could be a gimme, but anything could happen. And it's still going to be exciting to watch Zach Wilson play. It's still going to be fun to watch Kenny Galladay play. Kadarius Toney, can't forget about him for the Giants now, first round pick. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. But no, overall I'm excited, and yeah, 10-7 for the Saints is my prediction. So
alrighty, great stuff. I went with 11-6. So we will see, you know, how accurate we are at the end of the year. But that's the wrap up this episode, guys. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at SaintsFPC for the drops. And like I said, we're literally about to record the next episode next. So sit tight, and we'll see you guys then.